A very good evening to all the students for taking your time out today for an exciting session with Mentor Links. So I am Dr. Surud Neurgaonkar. I am the Director of School of Distance Education, and I'm very happy that you all have gathered virtually for our very important session on Mentor Links. I'm really blessed and I'm privileged to introduce the Chief Convener behind Mentor Links, M. Krishna sir. So I'm just going to introduce him and then I'll request M. Krishna sir to take it over. So M. Krishna sir has overall 34 years of progressive general management experience into diversified segments of the Indian industry. And within that, 22 plus years as managing director and CEO of Indian subsidiaries of multinational companies. Currently, he is the executive principal and coach of Mentor Links. He is also the panel member of US-based technology and management consulting firm called Performatica. He also holds the board member. He is also the board member of Sambodh Foundation, a spiritual management NGO. Within his domain, he has basically worked with various companies, especially all multinational companies. So I'd like to highlight some of his, you can say, companies where he has worked in. So Concentric Pumps India Private Limited, which is an auto components company. He was there as a managing director. Eaton Fluid Power India, which is an industrial equipment and hydraulic systems company. He was the CEO of Eaton Fluid Power India. He's also successfully established 3 greenfield manufacturing operations in India as well as in China. As far as educational qualification is concerned, he has completed his BE and MBA in finance. His basic skill sets are establishing green/brownfield operations and manufacturing facilities across the globe. He is a Six Sigma Master Black Belt, having 15 plus years of coaching and implementation in Six Sigma. He's a lean champion trained by Bruce Henderson, Toyota, and also has 15 plus years of coaching and implementation experience. His notable achievements basically are product development and deployment in Asian markets, creating centers of excellence in business operations, business turnarounds, and also global product innovation. And he's an award winner as far as global product innovation is concerned. As far as extracurricular activities are concerned, he is a scriptural researcher and its applications to daily personal and professional life management. He is involved in giving, or he's you can say, a distinguished visiting faculty at most of the management schools and on institutes of management and leadership globally. And his areas basically are spirituality, yoga, and stress management. So I'm extremely happy and delighted that the chief convener of Mentor Links, M. Krishna sir, has joined us, and I request him to take this particular presentation ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. Am I audible to all?
Absolutely, sir.
Yes, thank you, Professor. Thank you for this opportunity with your team, and warm welcome to the faculty, professors, and the students who have gathered for this session. As Professor said, let me see how much I can showcase what the whole system or the program is going to benefit you people. Yes, next slide, ma'am. See, the idea of Mentor Links is to ensure that we actually have a good, strong global India, and that can be done only through a very good institutions, especially like MIT, where the fundamentals are just not enough, and you need little more than fundamentals is what we are trying to bring into the table now. Now, next slide, ma'am. If you see, let's jump on to the presentation and thoughts now. You see, the biggest thing for anyone to be successful is, you must have seen a lot of messages on success on WhatsApp, on many other forums. But the critical thing in life one must understand to be successful is if you manage change well. Now, if you do not manage change, just go ahead, madam. If you do not manage change well, the problem is the change will start to manage you. Now, that stage is when you really get stressful, depressed, and all this comes. So the idea is, is you should be able to manage the change within yourself. It is not necessarily education. It could be all parts of life, when you go from maybe school to college, or maybe from college to job, or into the marriage, or into an higher education, or a changing of the job, everything, or your own neighbor coming new, where you have sometimes fight. So you must understand that the change is something that you need to manage. If we do not manage the change well, then it becomes stressful to us. But the beauty is both of them, require information. This is the critical thing in managing the change. Now, yes, ma'am. Now, if you look at the information which is common to both, but how does it work in real life? You see, when you become stressful, what happens is like this. Yes, ma'am. Now, when you become stressed, what you want to do is you want one person to give you the entire world's view to you. Just press ahead, ma'am. Now, this is, we know this in real life, it happens. So we go to one person who can talk about life, who can talk about economy, who can talk about education, health, even about our, what will happen to my family, and all this you will bound to ask him, because now we feel that he is the expert and we become stressed. Now, we unfortunately cannot bring you in this scenario. So we bring you the other one, where we bring in a lot of people, experts from different fields, and tell you, okay, this is what the real world is. This is what the whole world is changing from now. What is a trend that is happening in the world? And we want to give you a better way and successful way of managing the change. So this is what, sum and substance of what we are trying to do, because all of you will understand that there is no one person in the world today who can give you information about everything. It's just not possible. See, even in the industry, many industries are going, I would say bankrupt, because they are not able to manage the change. So one person giving all information being difficult, so we have brought the other side of it, where we would bring in a lot of people, experts in the world, to help us understand what is happening in this world today. Yes, ma'am. Now I'll give you a brief gist of what's happening in the world. We all know it. Say, in the corona times, the entire world is going to be in the brink of recession, which we know it is not something which is unknown today. And if you go further to this, not just is going to be the world, the change that is going to happen in the world is also going to be really big. And if you, yes, ma'am. Now, if you look at India specifically, you will see, this is a fact. This is something not to be worried upon, which I will come back a little later. But if you look at, it is expected that, India will be going through not so good economy, and it will only bounce back probably, next year, probably in Q2. That's what the studies tell us. So this is something which is happening in the world today. Now, whenever a country or the world goes into this type, the amount of change that's going to bring in is enormous. It's enormous for one person to understand. Yes, ma'am. Especially in the information world, where everything is coming on WhatsApp, and we don't know what is true, what is false, what is good, and what is bad. And in the world today, it's not the same as it was maybe 6 months ago. You will see all the cost of products and services going up. Travel and hospitality industry has taken a huge beating. Now, we do not know really when this whole thing will come back. Consumer prices really gone up, and efficiencies historically that was available has also gone off. This is also another major issue that's happening today. Yes, ma'am. So now what we are looking at is what is going to be the real thing that's happening probably in the next 6 to 8 months. This all of us must be aware. Maybe 5 years back we all talked of globalization of manufacturing. Unfortunately, the whole world will move towards deglobalization of manufacturing. You will already start seeing this in many countries wanting to keep their own people, maybe including US and Middle East and things like this. People are going to reorganize supply chain. They would possibly want less disruption in their system. So they wanted possibly more supply chain coming from local sources. Similar is the case with human resource. Now, value addition for every rupee or dollar invested is what every company is going to seek now. And of course, as you are now and we are talking virtually, so everyone will be forced to engage more technology for decision making. So this is going to be the norms on which the whole world is going to move through, on a simple word of DRIVE. But all is not really bad. We should know that this is a survey released just August. You see a lot of profit per employee on a different segments you can see. If you look at maybe financials, technology, they're all making, except for something like food and drugs, you will see hotels and restaurants and retail are not doing so well. But you will see profit per employee is being maintained in certain sectors, and certain sectors are really doing well. Yes, ma'am. So we should understand that not everything is bad, not everything is really good. So we need to understand this. Of course, the world is we call it as a relative world, because there is no absolute score in this world. Say you go to an interview, you go to a job, or you go somewhere, you are only scored with respect to the person who is competing with you. You are not scored on absolute terms to give a job or an interview or a score or something like this. So this is where we must be, because this makes all of us more competitive, because everybody wants to know everything. So we should know that the world is relative. We should know that we can only and be better than whom we are competing with. So there is no absolute score. Nobody can absolutely claim I'm completely learned or completely with information. Is just not possible, because you don't know what the other person is holding with you. Yes, ma'am. Now, see, if you look at the next one, what we are seeing is the markets and technology are completely going into what we call a connected system or a connected worker, as you see it, with the different platforms as we are using today. Is just not going to be one industry, but it's going to be every industry is going to get into connected systems. Now, how fast the whole industry is changing probably is faster than what academia is changing for. So this is something to think over, and is what we are trying to bring in to say, how can an academia know the technology and the market change that is happening? Now, if you look at this, all is not bad for India. You should understand. India is good because we have a lot of import substitution that is being sought, as I told you, from the drive that is actually forcing the reinvestment, and a lot of digitization is happening, which the formalization is also pushing for a lot of digitization. Now, these two will bring better infrastructure and better jobs. So India is poised for a good recovery. Yes, ma'am. On the next slide, you will see these are all data coming, published data. As you will also see, this is what they call as a tipping point for growth, where the salary and average manufacturing wage is not so high. And see, this is one slide. I want to talk on this slide so that you will know what this change in the world is happening. You see, when the study was published in Feb 2019, it said the well-being of an employee is very much required for productivity, profitability, and things like this. Okay, now, next slide, ma'am. But if you look at what happened in the world, just see, in August 2019, the CEOs got together and said, we will prioritize people over profits. But understand what happened before even 12 months, before even a year passed from what the CEO signed. The coronavirus has come in and the job loss was 47 million. Now see what has happened. This is what reality we need to understand. It all happened in less than 12 months, when in August 19 the CEO signed that we will have people over profits. But then when it happened, it actually changed the whole scenario. Now, who is right, who is wrong, we are not going into this, but the idea to show you is the understanding this change that is going to happen is what is critical for understanding the life itself. Otherwise, we will not be successful. We will become depressed. Now, what are we trying to bring in this scenario? We want to bring in three different aspects. One is a global knowledge sharing. As I told you that not one person can give everything what is available as an information to us. So we are trying to bring in a global panel of, yes ma'am, a panel of who are actually business leaders, CEOs, MDs, GMs, on diversified panel of industries, which you will see shortly, so that they can tell us about what's happening in their industry. Because we want to learn from them, hear from them, understand from them, and read their thoughts. So this is what we are trying to bring in, because the idea is neither me nor anyone can do this unless it is a team of people. So this is where the MentorLinks is coming to say, we will have a global expert panel who will contribute to our knowledge sharing process in understanding the changes that's happening. Yes, ma'am. The other portion, what we will also help is technical skills. Now, I will just show you what technical skills about. This is as people move from an institution into an enterprise, the enterprise runs in a certain format. Like it has got processes, it has got businesses, it has got, technology transformation systems. Similarly, when you go from institution into an enterprise, you also need to have certain understandings of, soft skills that is required. Yes, ma'am. So what we also do is not just to give you the information on global sharing, we also do the other two. Now you will see what we are trying to show is the global interface consists of leaders, functional experts. We have got even, US university professors on board. We have got scientists, we have got professionals. I would say we have an overall of 500 years of global corporate exposure. We have that resource with us. Now, where do they come from? They come from maybe IT, telecom, finance, project, manufacturing, academics, quality, wide variety. And we also are trying to keep adding people to this at all times, so that we have a wide range of functional expertise people available at all times. Now, how are we going to do this? We have named it as alert. There are, first is, let's go with ask. Very simple system is we can ask them the questions so that they can answer back to what questions or queries or what we have. Yes, ma'am, you can keep moving. So this is what we call ask, where we are going to use a resource which will be explained later, that you can ask questions to them. Now, they will also start putting some articles which we can read. So this is how we share information with the expert panel. Of course, we can also learn from them when they address on a specific topic, which can happen at a certain date. We can also engage them, in maybe virtual or physical manner. And we can also have them train on a specific topic if required. Now, why I have marked this yellow is, probably you will understand later, we are trying to do those two areas specifically for now. Ask and read. And maybe a professor can, intervene and, look at it if you need to expand. So that I leave it to the, esteemed professors to do it. Next, ma'am. Now, if you look at the other sections, what we are doing is processes. For example, when you get into an industry, you need to know, not become expert, but you need to know what are the problem solving tools. What is the process control tools? What is DevOps, Agile, certification systems. Similarly, how does a business run with the financial systems, with ERPs? How does a project get managed? And what is an automation system that is going on today into big data analytics, natural process learning, or AI, or robotics, or RPAs? So this is something you need to carry with you as something which is not alien or new to you when you get into an enterprise. Because you're going to go to an enterprise, maybe in 2 years you will change from one to the other. So continuing to keep track of the industry relevance makes it important, at least in the first 5 to 7 years of being in an enterprise. Yes, ma'am. Now, not only this, you also will need to understand something on, case studies, what's happening right now if you're in an education section, and now also on soft skills like what is ethics, communication, presentation, the biggest thing is how do you present yourself, not just the results. And then of course you always have interpersonal conflict, teamwork. So all these soft skills are also necessary to make you really grow in an organization which is actually global now. You know, many times when you go southeast of Asia, you may not even understand the language what the people speak, but then you will have to ensure you get deliverable done. So this, I think we have discussed a lot. We see both value for the institution and we see both value for the individual, especially from, you become highly information oriented with facts coming out of the world. Of course, it gives you global trends, makes you competitive and employable. As I told you, is a relative world. You become better employable than a person whom you're competing with. So that is what is crucial in today's world. Yes, ma'am. Now, if you look at, this is to give you a brief overview of the panel, what we have. See, we have people with, as I told you, average of about, I would say 25 to 30 years. We have people from manufacturing, human resource, people from finance and tax, and then we have got a university professor also on board. Yes, ma'am. This is, I'm just showing you a brief of these people, and we have got people from, entrepreneurs we have got who have started, who have worked and started, so they exactly come tell you. We've got people from IT, BPM, telecom, fintech, which is actually the real system that is going towards, the world is going towards. And we have also got, yes ma'am, we have also got people, functional expert outside of industry, like project management. We have got from global consulting, we have got, and we have got from legal insurance as well, when the civil project. This is a snapshot of our people now whom you see, but we have got, we try keep on adding people as we go by. Now with this, I hand it over back to professor to see to explain how the whole process is going to go about.
Yeah, I request. Thank you very much, Krishna sir, for a brief update and overview of the entire program. I think this is a one-of-a-kind initiative taken by MIT School of Distance Education. I don't find anybody in this sphere of education, that to online education. We are the first movers, and we are very, I am repeating, we are very blessed and privileged to have mentors like Krishna sir. And it's only possible because of Krishna sir that these expert panels, these are the industry stalwarts. These stalwarts are going to be on the MentorLinks platform, and they will solve all your queries, be it academic queries, be it industry-related queries, mentoring, training. So this is a one-of-a-kind initiative which MIT School of Distance Education has taken. And again, I would like to thank Krishna sir from the bottom of my heart. And now, how this particular platform is going to work, I request Bhagyashree ma'am to explain the process of this particular platform.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, students. Myself, Professor Bhagyashree Pandey here. Yesterday only we had a webinar on academic awareness program where we had a poll regarding the awareness and the requirement of MentorLinks program. And I feel very nice to share here with you that around 98% of the attendees said they need and they will definitely avail this facility of MentorLinks. So let us know in detail how this particular platform MentorLinks, ask the query how it is going to work now. So first of all of you students, whatever your questions are there, whatever your queries are there, you are going to send it at mentorlinks@mitsd.com. The email is already mentioned there in the PPT. When you are going to send all these queries at mentorlinks@mitsd, at our end, moderator at MITSD will collect all your queries, and we will then send it to the moderator at mentorlinks. Okay, then the queries will be further sent to the respective experts from the moderator at mentorlinks. The experts will give response answers to your queries, and they will be, these answers or the responses will be collected from moderator at mentorlinks. All these responses and answers will be whatever the resolved queries are there, it will be sent back to the mentorlinks at mitsd.com, and further from MITSD platform it will be send your answers back to you. So I hope you have understood how the Ask the Query platform is going to work here. I will move ahead with this. Ma'am, please go to the next slide. Can we have a next slide? Okay, so here I guess M. Krishna sir and M. Krishna sir has explained the mentor links, how exactly it is going to work, and the process we have explained already. If you have any queries, you can just put your all the queries in the chat box and we will answer it in the session itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhagashri ma'am. Thank you for that update. So we have started receiving questions. Krishna sir, maybe I will read out those questions and I'll request you to answer some of the questions of the panelists today. The first question is basically from Avinash Sharma. He has asked the question, what would be the future of operations management after this COVID in the corporate world?
Okay, Avinash ji, the operations management is completely changing over from what it is to a completely digitalized form. So we call it as digitalization of the whole process that is taking place. The idea is this: everybody wants to be. See, problem is, as you see, because of COVID, the entire cost structure has gone up of everyone. Unfortunately, so much cost cannot be absorbed by the end consumer in all walks of life. So there has to be a methodology within the operations management to start focusing on the cost, but not at the compromising the quality portion of it. So this is putting a lot of pressure on every organization in the operations management to become more cost competitive. And in becoming more cost competitive, we have supply chain really not in favor, because you will have to decide less disruptions tomorrow, because what happened today can happen even tomorrow. So this was something which was unplanned in the world economy. So now in the operations management, you have a challenge to address it today in terms of cost, efficiency, digitalization, and hold the price. Two, also to plan for tomorrow, to see what is that you learned from today, and you become much more prudent in handling a similar situation tomorrow. This is what the operations management is doing. It's a big challenge that you will have to do for today, and you will have to learn from today and plan for tomorrow. And this is going to be running purely from using the technology perspective, how best you can reduce wastage in the system, how you can improve the process efficiency and effectiveness. So this is crucial for operations management as we go from today. Probably I would see that in the next probably 12 months to 24 months, the focus on operations management is going to be crucial. You will see today many companies have really not increased their price, basically from a social perspective. If you look at people like us, of course there are a lot of people who are misusing, I'm not talking on that, but if you look at sanitizers, if you look at PPE systems and things like this, many people who were doing it before are doing almost the same or very less incremental cost, although every product has increase in cost because of operation, because of people, because of infrastructure, because of moving in. So the operations management is going to play a crucial role today and tomorrow for the entire economy of the world.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. I believe this is a very brief answer to the question. The second question is a very interesting question by Mr. Deepak Kumar. He says, why do we need a mentoring program? Isn't mentoring best when it happens organically?
Now, this is a good point. I will just share my thought. See, for example, when I am in a mentoring doesn't stop from institution also. Let me answer this question from two perspectives. One, when you move from an institution into an enterprise, it is completely a different world as you move in. Now, today, as when we were getting on to I would say moving from institution to enterprise, we did not really have cultural shock as meaning when you apply for a job today, we had only Indians applying for the job. But today, when you apply for a job, you are going to have, all across the world, people are going to apply for a similar job. So you see, what is happening today is, when you move from your institution to enterprise, the stage number one, you really need to understand many things which are not taught in an institution. Now, that understanding will make or break your entry into a system. This is what is happening today. So the idea is, you need somebody who has an experience, who has undergone that and felt it, really to tell you something, what is happening or how you should behave in a different global cultural environment as you move from an institution into an enterprise. Number two, within the enterprise, after you move in, say, in 5 years, 6 years, or 10 years, there are chances that you're going to move from, maybe people are even changing fields. From engineering operations, they go to IT. From there, they go to fintech. Now, see, when you're moving from here, it is again a completely, probably sometimes you will feel that that was not my comfort zone. Should I move? Is it that market that is going to continue for quite some time? Is it going to give me the benefit? Or can I take this decision to move from, engineering into fintech or engineering into IT? Now, these things need a lot of, people who have experience to share and guide you. Mentoring is basically guide and coach. So as you see today, academics and people within the family also can give you only to a certain level. Now, in the next, I would look at maybe the next 15, 20 years, somebody to head an organization at a GM level or at an, CEO level, age is not going to be a matter. Previously, it was, you have to be maybe 50 plus or 55 plus to become a CEO or MD. Now you have directors of multinationals coming at 40, 45. Now, does it mean that the people are going to be, immature or this? No, because they are going to have the maturity bringing in by mentors. See, big multinational corporations put in a mentorship even for people, say, at 40, 45, becoming a profit center head or CEO. There is no dearth of this happening. Why? Because this is what is happening. There are a lot of mentors in the background for such young people to understand, what is it, how is it to run a business, sorry, how is it to handle people, how is it to handle customers, how is it to handle failures. These all come through, in olden times, maybe when you are 50, 55, you actually gain it through your own experience and you become a CEO or head of a company. But now you don't have the time. So the time is shortened. And then, mentorship plays a very crucial role in see how fast you move within your growth ladder to how wide you move in your growth ladder also matters by mentorship.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for a elaborative answer. Another
Yes.
question which is coming, maybe I will be able to handle this question.
Sure.
What is the purpose of mentor-link content and how is it created? So I believe if you have seen the presentation, the panel members of mentor-links are all stalwarts within various verticals. So they have a lot of experience and insights in that particular domain. So the content will be definitely, it will be coming out of their own insights and experience. And basically the purpose behind mentor-links is to connect to you, to all the students, to these global, you can say, players, to understand, and they will be able to guide you basically with respect to your academic or maybe your queries within the industry in whichever domain you are working. So I think I have answered this question. Krishna sir, would you like to add something about here?
No, you said it perfect, because it is
Okay.
their experience and that purview is what will come. That's perfect.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'll go to the next question, sir. Okay, again, I believe I'll be able to answer this. After mailing, when will we get a reply from MIT? What is the time to respond back to the student? Now, if you understand that these are all global players, these are all you can say stalwarts who are placed in US, UK, Australia, and many parts of the world. So we have already created this Mentor Links email ID. So once we receive your reply, we will be sending it to the moderator of Mentor Links, and at least maybe we'll require at least 10 days to respond you back, because they are all busy people. They are not here just to maybe they will definitely they will be involved in maybe this particular assignment, but you also need to give them some time. So I think within 10 days to 12 days of time, we'll be able to respond back with the queries which have been raised from your side. The next question I will take is, can we ask our study related problems questions on mentor links? Absolutely. You can ask all your study related problems questions on mentor links. Also, we have two teams here. Yesterday, if you have attended the webinar, we have an academic support team. So primarily, you can maybe mail to the academic support team and get your queries resolved. If we are not able to do the same, definitely we can also explore the mentor links platform for getting those queries solved. Okay, move forward. One second. Okay, mentor links is a good platform for changing world. Is it free or have to be subscribed to any site for queries answered or updated with current affairs? My dear student, this is entirely a free platform. We are not going to charge a penny from you. This is a, you can say, a extended support which we want to provide to all our students for the betterment, for the career enhancements, and to listen from stalwarts definitely is a very good thing. So this is completely free platform. You have to just respond to the mentor links email ID, which has already been shared with you, and it's available in this particular presentation. Another interesting question, maybe Krishna sir, you can take this. After pandemic, new normal is India becoming a good investment of new global? Okay, I think it's a quite confusing question. Let me understand it first, and I'll put it in a different way. Okay, after the pandemic, whether India will be a good investment destination? This is what the question is.
I think India is and will become a very good investment destination. See, one must understand from the current world scenario, not just pandemic. Pandemic is one, possibly, I would say, a reason. But the other reason is also the economic tussle going on between US and China, where people do not want, because of the economic structure there, and then they want to move out. But you must also understand one thing, that although the opportunity in a pandemic is put a very positive resource to us, we should also understand that, as I told you in Drive, there are a lot of moves and initiatives taken by individual countries' government to say, can we do it within ourselves? Which is we call a deglobalization of manufacturing. So that also everybody is looking at it. So it is equally, plus and minuses, I would say, but it is definitely plus with respect to any other country, either neighboring country or any other country, that given a choice of the world companies and multinationals to put up a manufacturing plant or a process or an IT or the service setup, I think India is continuously being seen as a very good destination for investment. But only thing is, what will happen is, it is not going to be a cakewalk or a free walk, and we all will have to earn for it and not just sit down and get it.
Thank you very much, sir. The next question is asked by Mr. Akshay. After COVID, more industries will move to online businesses. Will there be more scope for e-commerce sort of businesses?
That is what is expected now. See, what the feeling in the current world is today, after the vaccine comes out, probably till that time, it will be completely online. After the vaccine comes out, and then some confidence builds up in the world people, it will be almost into next year mid. So till the time, the onlines will start up, and once the comfort level and the confidence of the consumers build in the online platform for e-commerce, it will continue to sustain, which is what you see today. The number of retails, that has gone bankrupt is almost, the number says, is more than what happened during the economic recession in 2008. If you recall, during the 8-9 time frame, the world went through a big recession. It is felt that the special on the e-commerce side, where the retails are getting affected, probably it will continue to get affected if the people become convenient in doing an e-commerce or online thing. So, but for the other segments, it is not believed so. But for the retail, it is expected that it is going to have a big impact. The online retail is going to have a big impact on the facial retail.
Thank you very much, sir. Another question is by Mr. Thomas. He says industry and technology is changing, but in country like India, politics and stable government are important factor that affects growth. So I think this is a very generic question, but
Yes,
sir, if you like to comment, maybe.
Sure, I will answer this. You will see politics and whatever the climatic conditions is, I'm sure is a factor, but it is not the only factor. You see, we have been growing in this world in spite of this. So the amount of influence that you think that can bring in, is very minuscule. It is not something that can really overturn our growth, economy, and the people. If you look at the investment in manufacturing or IT or service as it has come in from India or into India has been quite high, in spite of, I would say, maybe not stable or unstable or whatever is the case, but our entire founding structure of the country is so good in strength, like, for example, your justice system, your system with respect to monetary openness in the economy. All these are really far reaching and strong in respect to the world economy is what you can see outside. So in spite of, you may have small skirmishes here and there, but that really is not going to devalue our capability and ability for people to come in. So we will continue to see investments coming into India.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll take the last question. This is I'll be able to answer this, sir. Since when this mentor link will be active? Will there be live classes also? So today, this is the launch of the mentor links program. We have Krishna sir joining from Chicago, United States, for this particular launch. And from today itself, this particular mentor links platform will be active. And as far as live classes are concerned, so if you have gone through the presentation carefully, the alert acronym basically tells you what exactly is in store for you. Ask, that is, you can ask questions to all the stalwarts, the mentors on the mentor links platform. You can learn, L stands for learn in the form of, you can say, articles, blogs, experiences from all those stalwarts. Engage is again, maybe you can have a one-on-one session with those you can say industry stalwarts. Then read. So read is basically articles, blogs again, and train. The last point is T for train. Training needs, basically we will be identifying what kind of training requirements our students require, and once we have a sufficient number, let's say for project management, if there is a training requirement which is coming from the student side, or for maybe the various verticals which Krishna sir has mentioned in this presentation. So there are 14-15 verticals, right, from project management, operations, analytics, fintech. So all these experts are there on this particular platform, but the training part will be only done if there is a specific requirement, and if the numbers are, you can say, substantial, then we'll go for training with these industry experts too. So I think we have tried to cover most of the questions, sir.
Very nice.
I request again Bhagyashree ma'am to take over and maybe kindly do the further proceedings, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, I would like to have here a vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank M. Krishna sir for giving us all a valuable insight into what Mentor Links is all about and its various aspects. I'm sure this enticing association of MIT SDE with Mentor Links will be detrimental in adding value to not just the academic journey, but also to your successful career. Hence, on behalf of all the students, we are looking forward to the articles, sessions, queries, whereby the mentors, true to their name, will guide us all and enlighten and enrich us with their knowledge and expertise. Do send your queries at the mentioned email address, that is mentorlinks@mitsde.com. Thank you once again, all of you. Have a nice time, all of you. Will definitely will be looking forward to your queries and will solve your queries as soon as possible. Thank you. Hereby, I declare the end of this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Krishna sir.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, students. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Wish you all the best.
Thank you very